Eso.
Muy bien, muy bien.
Thank you.
What was that?
Some free line that I played there.
You're just jamming?
Yeah.
You're jamming, man.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
jamming.
baby,
Were you
yeah.
were you a nervous kid?
Oh, God. Once in a while.
Well, during the break, you guys, I want to get back to the aspect about, you know, I think I actually have some African blood, I think, too, because my relatives came from Spain. Yeah, my abuelito looked like a Moor, you know, plus I think I do have some African blood because it would explain some of my anatomy. So, my lips, my full lips. No, just kidding. We were talking about, I want to talk about Omar. During the break, a couple of breaks ago, you mentioned that you felt that when you were a child, that you come from a country where people could be poor and happy. So there was a happiness and there was a self-concept. I want to get back to the idea of the African Americans' self-concept versus the Afro-Latinos concept.
I think,
Self-concept, rather.
you know, it's very interesting. I just met a lady who is doing some work for me, and she's 100% African from Nigeria. And she just separated from her husband, who's 100% African American. And her comments to me was, you know what? He's lazy. Why do you say that? He goes, because look at me. I've only been here 5 years. He was born here. He has all the things that America has to offer, you know, people of poverty, you know, welfare, Social Security, all those great things you have in America, which we don't have in our countries. You know, you poor, you poor. And I think that we come out here to this country with an incredible drive. We come here with only one thing in mind. We want to be paid. We come here with just this rage to succeed. We want to succeed. We want to be known as winners.
Because that's what we're watching through the TV.
Claro.
That's
Yeah,
what
but
we
I
are.
think
conversely, yeah.
But also, we have to take, I mean, you have to look at it. We, in terms of the immigrants, came by choice in order to gain.
Exactly.
Okay? But when you're brought over on a ship with no choice, it's a different story.
And also, I think
Right.
she's being unfair on the experience of the African and the African American, because, for example, immigrants tend to have a drive. Look at Colin Powell, which is he's an immigrant. He married an African American woman, for example, and you know he reached the highest in the military. But it's a different mentality when you are here, when you immigrate and you want to prove yourself. A lot of the African Americans here want to prove themselves, but they have been generation of discrimination, and they see it. I mean, when I watch Rodney King on TV, I cried. I mean, I might not look black, but that's what they see all the time. When I visited the Dominican Republic and I show my California ID, the blacks there, when they saw California, that's what they told me.
But
My
let me
God,
ask
that's...
you, I wish that someone could tell me this. When was the last, when did they record the last slavery boat that came from?
I have no
Is it
idea. Probably the
recorded?
1800s.
I don't know exactly, you know.
So
I mean,
probably 1800s, right? So probably over 100 years
Emancipation
ago. Hey,
Proclamation.
get over it. You know,
Well, sure.
get
but-
over it, move on.
But the culture that we have...
I think it's easy.
culture doesn't allow for
It's
that because
easy.
it's institutionally ingrained. And so
Exactly.
it's not as easy as get over it. You know?
Right,
I mean,
right.
people
See,
still
It's easy
can't-
for us to say, get over it.
Because we can
we
always
no
go
pass
back
for those
home.
things.
Exactly, but this is
You
their
know,
home,
this is
and
it.
they have a right to be here, and they didn't ask to be here, and they can succeed if they want. Look at Oprah Winfrey, for example. She's a perfect example, but she went through hell and back, and then, you know, she stuck to her guns, and that's how she succeeded. So I wouldn't generalize that all African Americans living here are blaming the white for what happens to them, but I do understand, because when I watch TV, I do see how a lot of the time they get the most negative images, and they also have the Louis Mack case in New York, in which they beat this poor Haitian, I mean, to pieces. So when you have generations of seeing that abuse over and over, and you see no justice, of course they're angry, and they rebel against the system.
Right.
So they taken in the wrong way because what they doing is self-destroy.
Exactly.
It's
Well,
sort of
it's
like what
psychology.
Natasha was saying about the background. You come with a different attitude.
Right. Sure.
You know, a different. You inherit your energy from your culture and from your family. And African Americans have inherited a different legacy. I'm sorry, you were going to say something, Long John, about.
When?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't want to.
I
I
said
just
already.
think that one last
You were
point.
just smiling and moving your hands. I thought.
I think
Big
we
Cuban.
have to also be I think we also have to be very conscious that African American culture is inherently American culture. Remember, African Americans exist with white America, and that's. I'm just saying that we have to look at all angles of this. You know.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
only thing that I want to understand is why we have to say Afro, Cuban, Afro, Boricua.
Right.
Afro. Why we have to
We're
say Afro?
Boricuas. We're all
We say
Boricuas.
why?
Well,
American.
What is a Boricua?
Boricua is a native of the island of Borinquen, which is the
Borinquen,
land
that's
of the
the
nobles.
real name
And
of
that's
the island,
what
Borinquen.
we are.
Okay.
you were talking to Tasha that.
¿Qué podría usted comprar con $12.50? 35 millones de personas lo invierten en una membresía con AARP. Y con esos $12.50 al año, obtienen acceso a descuentos y muchos beneficios, como servicios legales y financieros, oportunidades para trabajar como voluntario y asistencia gratis en la preparación de sus impuestos. Llame, infórmese, hágase miembro y recibirá gratis un ejemplar de Segunda Juventud.
PanoScan, high-resolution imaging that helps NASA and the Air Force train and prepare for emergencies. PanoScan 360-degree imaging helps law enforcement agencies with interactive maps and tactical planning to protect our schools. PanoScan, the choice for ultra-high-resolution panoramic imaging for homeland security, SWAT response, emergency preparedness, and crime scene documentation.